I personally find that police officers can still get away with murdering black people, especially if said black people are not fighting back or unarmed or pose no threat otherwise. I find that to be appalling in every sense of the word. Now, I personally am a white person who lives in a predominantly white country, so the chances of me facing systemic prejudice are like 0%, and now and that's highly unlikely to ever change based on my skin color. And I think that no one should have to be worried about that. No one should constantly fear being discriminated against for or the color of their skin, which is literally surface level. Well, and I just want to make this clear that even if you think that it isn't surface level, I will consider the possibility that maybe a general trend is not representative of every individual, and maybe those trends are a result of a racist society rather than biology. Because that seems more likely to me, considering my experience. Now, I understand that getting rid of racism will require reform in most, if not all, institutions in the developed world. That's right, it's not just America. But in my opinion, a good place to start is to demilitarize and defund the American police forces, because in my opinion, I don't think every actually, yeah, like, I think not every police officer needs to be armed for or a terrorist. That's why their response teams are are a thing rather than just yeah, that's why response teams are a thing. I will leave links to causes which support the black community in the description of not only this video, but of every Clownshoes Unlimited video I put out going forward until actual change happens. And with those links, I will also link a few black creators and artists whose content I personally enjoy and think deserve support, namely T1J, Misinformed, and Yaminko. On both of my channels, I will accept all except those who think I shouldn't. Though, and by those who think I shouldn't, I mean people like neo-Nazis, Klansmen with a K, and going their own way, trans-exclusionary radical feminists, and the straight pride types, etc. And the principle of those who I do accept extends to the LGBTQ plus community. I will stress that homosexual acts are natural and harmless among consenting parties, just like heterosexual acts are. Trans men are men, trans women are women, non-binary identities are valid, and you can be a feminine man or a masculine woman without being trans. I think that distinction is important to make while still accepting both. Yeah. Now, considering that there is evidence for these identities not being chosen and being scientifically valid, even if you say, oh, it's only 0.01% of the population, that's still 78 million people. Worldwide, of course. But still, I wholeheartedly believe that the LGBTQ plus community should be specifically protected from discrimination, like at least in theory, people of color, women, religious minorities, and disabled people are. We'll be linking causes which support the LGBTQ plus community in the description of not only this video, but also of every other Clownshoes Unlimited video released during Pride Month. I'll also link, with those, I will link some LGBTQ plus creators who I think deserve support, mainly Jamie Dodger, Ironically Screaming, and Dear Mr. Atheist. If you want to support an LGBTQ plus creator you're probably already familiar with, like and subscribe to me. That was probably the most YouTuber way to come out ever. But yes, I am pansexual, so subscribing to me could be considered supporting the LGBTQ plus community. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave this off here. So hopefully I've made my I desire to be inclusive to people, and how I think that should be how the way the world works, that we should be inclusive in every aspect of life. And yeah.